What's up, Street Thugs? Brigg here, and I've got another City of Heroes build for you. Now, this one has been asked several times of me. This is the electric tank using electric armor and electric melee. So if you like the video, you like the build, or you wanted to see another build or have suggestions, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear them. I love to hear the criticism. Obviously, I am not the best in the world. I only put in my experience and what works for me, so obviously it doesn't work for everybody, but if it helps you, that's fantastic. If it doesn't, maybe it just gives you some inspiration or insight, or maybe some ideas. Please remember to subscribe because it is free. It does help me out to bring you more content. Now, I am in mids or pines, however you look at it, so this will look a little different than it would in game, but we'll kind of zip through this. So the first one I have here is charge armor, charge brawl, lightning field, conductive shield, combat jumping, static shield, taunt, grounded, fly, energizing, going right through these. Lightning reflexes, thunder strike, hover, afterburner, Jake's platter, chain induction. We're going to go over something in a second. Boxing, tough, weave, maneuvers, power sync, tactics, and lightning rod. And for my incarnates, I'll just kind of zip through that. I took agility, ion core, because ion is just so much fun, and ageless. I did take diamagnetic core because it does a 2-hit and a minus regen to them. So I thought that was a nice little boost. If they can't hit your group, you're functioning properly as a tank. And then I took assault because this is a build that you're not going to really be, you could solo, you're going to be able to solo. However, you're not going to put out the most damage. That's a given with a tank, but this really focuses on being a tank. So if you're looking for a solid electric tank build, this is a good one to go for. But I did take assault just to boost your weakness, which is the damage, because boosting anything else is kind of ridiculous at that point. Real quick, let's just go over the stats so I can give you an idea. Since this is a tank and you're usually melee up close, so I focus on melee, and I also got it about 30% for ranged and AoE. So you're pretty durable in the midst of most fights. And then of course my resistances, it's pretty much almost all the way across the board. Negative is just close. Psionic is 90%, so that's awesome. Toxic is only at 48. I think it does scale a little bit, so it might jump up to like 54, 55. It's not maxed out, but that's pretty good. Toxic and Psionic, obviously, as everybody knows, is a hard one to max out on most builds because you end up sacrificing a few things to get to that point. And I took a whole bunch of powers just to get Toxic to that point. As you can see, my Psionic is way up there and overblown, but that's all right. Back over here to charge armor. So I got teleportation protection, which is the 3% defense almost like pretty much a given. And then we got the unbreakable guards. I did take the HP in the first one. And then as you can see here, I took, everything but recharge resistance. You can do however you want with these. I paid very close attention to exactly what I needed to get the most out of them in most places. So I was picky about what slot from each set went into the build. Your choice. It's not going to make that much of a difference, but if you want to follow this directly, you can come over here to charge brawl. You can do whatever you want to. That's it's the first power you get in the attack chain. I didn't put in anything in it. You can put whatever you want to. It's your call. You can put a proc in there. It doesn't matter. It's your call. Lightning field. I took the superior gauntleted fist. For that one, I'm focusing on melee. Melee defense was my prime goal right there, and as you can see, you get 5% defense melee. And then because it has an endurance proc in there, I put in the chance for end. Not only is it doing constant damage, it's also lowering the enemy's endurance as well as boosting yours, so that's a cool one. We come over here to conductive shield, status protection, plus 3% defense. That's a given as well. Like I said, most of my builds don't go without the teleportation protection, gladiator's armor, as well as the steadfast protection. Those are just given. And then we go back over here to unbreakable guard, everything but the max XP. You can see I've got 5 of them there. Combat jumping. Now, this is something I did a little different. I don't always use the Luck of the Gambler sets. I usually just take the global recharge. In this case, I did for all my defenses. And here you can say I took everything but defense recharge and defense endurance recharge. And that's primarily, at this point, I didn't really need any more like specific defense that this was going to give me. I wasn't going to get any more resistance that I needed, so I'm already capped out. So this one I focus on regeneration, accuracy, and hit points. I'm a tank. That's a great one to have. Come down here to static shock. Status resistance. Not absolutely necessary in this case because you do get a lot of resistances to status effects with this build. However, if it's going to help a little bit, sure, why not? I got the spot for it. I'll just throw it in there. So the status resistance, that's the impervious skin. And then again, the 5 unbreakable guards. Taunt, just threw a recharge in there. Grounded, again, 5 unbreakable guards. Flight, yes, I'm a tank that flies. You can do whatever you want to or your speed power. That is a personal choice. You will probably have to tweak a couple things. It probably won't make that much of a difference. I love fly. Flight at heart is just one of my favorite powers. You don't have to take it. I know a lot of people look at tanks and flight and they're like, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. I love flight. So I took flight. In this case, you do get some resistance to fire cold. Not a big difference. Not a big deal. I could lose it and may not even go below. It could, but and then of course you get the status effect as well. So I took all three of the Winter's Gifts. Energize all the Numinas. You know, not only do you get the recharge regeneration, you also get 3.75% defense ranged. Lightning reflexes, I just took a flight in there. You can do speed, of course, if you wanted to. Thundering Strike. Here's an IO that you don't normally see too often. Sirocco's Dervish. And I don't even know if I'm saying Sirocco right. That's just always how I said it. Sirocco's Dervish. You don't really see that too often. I took 5 of them here. I did not take the Smashing and Lethal one because I used Sirocco's Dervish again later on. So we do take it there. So yes, I do use this set twice. And primarily it's because the 3.13% AoE defense. I mean, that's exactly why I took it. I didn't need the energy resistance, but whatever. I took it anyway. It does give you 10% regeneration, so that's awesome. Hover. Hover was pretty much just a mule power, and I took the Look at the Gambler recharge. Afterburner, Look at the Gambler recharge. I took 2 Winter's Gifts. Obviously cannot get all 3 because the third one is a unique. And then I took an Endurance mod because Afterburner is an endurance drain. Come over here to Jacob's Ladder. This one is the Superior Avalanche. Took all but the chance for knockdown, and primarily 5% melee defense is huge. Come down here to Chain Induction. This one I took Mako's Bite. Again for the defense, 3.75% defense range. That's a huge plus. And I did make some changes. So this is a really good one to have because you also get 3.75% resistance for Smashing and Lethal. I had it way over earlier, but I made some changes, got a little more out of the build, and that was a nice bonus because it covered the difference that I lost when I switched things up. So yeah, Mako's Bite's great for that. Boxing, again, like Charge Brawl is your choice. Come over to Tough. This one again, all 5 Unbreakables guards except for the max HP. And Weave. Here again, I used all Luck of a Gambler's as well as a nice boost to resistance, Smashing, and Lethal. Oh, another note, the Unbreakable guards, the reason why I'm taking so many at 5, as you can see, is that 5 is at 3.75% Toxic and Psionic, and my Psionic resistance is through the roof, but Toxic is not. So unfortunately you have to stack a bunch of them to get some sort of mitigation against Toxic. That's why there's so many of these. I also have the same thing with this. I took all 6 for here. Maneuvers, I only took 5. It would be great to have a little bit more, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference for your Toxic resistance. So I just went with the 5 because I could use it somewhere else. Power Sync, I just put an endurance modification, invention enhancement. Tactics is just an endurance mod. Here in Lightning Rod, again we have Sirocco's Dervish. This time I did take chance of smashing or lethal damage, and I took all of them but the accuracy, damage, endurance. And then build up, I just took the fire control, the Gaussian's synchronized fire control chance for build up, and then Swift, Flight, Turtle Jump, Health, Recovery, and then Stamina and Endurance mod. So that's the build there. As you can see, it's pretty rounded out. When I play a tank, I want it to be a tank. You know, I don't want a character that's just kind of middle of the road. You can go with a brute, and it's pretty much the same thing that I've got here. There might be some tweaks here and there because unfortunately brutes don't stack their resistance as quickly as tanks do. So you can, and I have messed with the Brute, you can get all your resistances pretty much to about 91%. Obviously your toxic is not going to be there, of course. You do lose a little bit here and there. That's pretty much just a melee defense focus. You are not going to be able to do the AoE or ranged. 30% is not soft cap, but still 30% is quite decent. For those of you who are looking for an electric build, I hope this helps you. If you would like to see any other build, please leave a comment. I will try to get to it as quickly as I can and get that out there for you. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all your support. Please again remember to subscribe. It is free. Like the video if you like it. Ring the bell for notifications. Comment if you want to make a suggestion or a request. Thank you very much. I will see you again soon. Stay golden and take care. Bye-bye.